19 years ago, Amy Wroe Bechtel, a 24-year-old Olympic marathon hopeful living in Lander, Wyoming, went for a run and never came back, having vanished without a trace. On July 24th, 1997, at around 10:30 p.m. in the night, a call was made to the Lander, Wyoming authorities regarding a missing person report. The call was placed by Steve Bechtel, the husband of Amy Bechtel. Amy and Steve had been married for a year and a month after they had graduated from the University of Wyoming in Laramie with degrees in exercise psychology. The couple moved to Lander, population around 7,000, and lived at a number 9 Lucky Lane, a small white house in a group of 12 utilitarian miners, houses the locals call Climbers Row. The Bechtels were tenants of the neighbors who would eventually find Amy's abandoned car, Todd Skinner and Amy Whistler. Skinner, who died in a tragic fall at Yosemite in 2006, was a world-renowned climber and Steve's frequent climbing partner. In 1997, Lander was on the cusp of becoming an elite climbing town, and in that world, Skinner and to a lesser extent Steve were stars. Today it has evolved into an outdoors enthusiasts' mecca, hosting the colossal climbers playground of Sinks Canyon in its backyard, the National Outdoor Leadership School, and an emergent road racing and ultra running scene. But in 1997, to some, the climbers who now in many ways give the town its identity were aliens, transients who didn't appear to have real job. They were fraternal and secretive, almost cultish. Amy was a runner within this climbing clique. She had been a standout distance runner at Wyoming. She ranked first in school history in the indoor 3,000 meters, and she completed that within 9 minutes and 48 seconds. The second in the indoor 5,000 meters run, she completed it in 18 minutes and 7 seconds in 1995, and with a marathon PR of 3 minutes 1 second, had aspirations of qualifying for the 2000 Olympic marathon trials. She and Steve both worked part-time at Wild Iris, the local climbing shop, and Amy, who also waited tables at the Sweetwater Grill and taught a youth weightlifting class at Wind River Fitness Center. The two had the appearance of happy young newlyweds. They had recently bought a house in the residential part of Lander and were preparing to take the leap out of their no need to knock doors never locked climbing bum shanty on Lucky Lane. When Amy vanished, Lander divided. The climbers and annuals crowd rallied around Steve, insulating him when it was clear the authorities suspected him. That raised suspicion with many of the townies, fueled by frustrated questions in the newspapers posed by law enforcement and Amy's family. As Brian D. Salvatore, a Montana-based writer who reported on the case for Outside magazine in 1998, puts, in his own words, that town was freaked out, scared, and angry. So what happened to Amy that fueled so much anger throughout the city? On July of 24th, 1997, Amy Bechtel had a busy day planned, which included teaching a fitness class in the morning, running errands throughout the late morning and early afternoon, and completing the day with a run through Wyoming's Wind River Mountains. Amy's husband Steve had a busy day as well and left home at approximately 9:30 a.m. He was in and out of the house several times that day, but was home for the evening by 8:15 p.m. and was surprised that his wife had not returned yet. However, he was not terribly concerned as he knew she had a lot of errands to run and it was not unusual for her to come home late. But as it grew later and Amy neither returned nor called, Steve realized something was horribly wrong. Amy often had long days, but she had never been out that late without any contact with her family or friends. The Bechtels' friends, also their neighbors, Amy and Todd Skinner, agreed to drive around and look for Amy's car while Steve stayed home in case she happened to call. Now let me tell you, it was still 1997 and no one had a cell phone with them. At approximately around 1 a.m. on July 25, 1997, the Skinners found Amy's vehicle abandoned by the side of the road near the entrance to a hiking trail. However, no trace of Amy was ever found. Amid their investigation into Amy Bechtel's disappearance, authorities pieced together a timeline of her day, which included visiting a local shop called Gallery 331. The authorities investigated the store's owner, Greg Wagner, who said Amy was in the shop at around 2:30 p.m. She came in on the day she went missing. Wagner said Amy Bechtel looked at her watch several times and seemed to be in a hurry to leave. Authorities believe Bechtel left the store and proceeded to the Shoshone National Forest in the Wind River Mountains, where she had planned to check out the route for an upcoming run. As reported, Amy Bechtel's white Toyota station wagon was found parked on Loop Road, where she could have easily accessed the route she planned to run. Authorities confirmed Bechtel's sunglasses, keys, and her to-do list were all left inside the vehicle. However, her wallet was missing. Authorities also confirmed that there did not seem to be any sign of struggle. Nobody saw Bechtel running along the route. However, a footprint that resembled the size and brand of her shoes was found along the trail. Unfortunately, the print was compromised before authorities could confirm it was a positive match. As is often the case when someone goes missing, authorities considered Amy Bechtel's husband as initial person of interest. At the time of Amy's disappearance, the couple had been married for just over 1 year and had recently purchased a home. However, their relationship was far from being perfect. Authorities searched the area where Amy Bechtel went missing for 8 days. However, no sign of the missing woman was ever found. Then Fremont County Sheriff Dave King expressed his frustration with the lack of clues and began suggesting Steve Bechtel may have been involved in his wife's disappearance. In an attempt to determine whether Steve knew anything about Amy's whereabouts, the sheriff asked Steve to consent to a polygraph examination. However, per the advice of his attorney, Steve refused. Authorities conducted a search of the Bechtels' home and discovered numerous personal journals, which Steve had filled with poetry, song lyrics, and other writing. Authorities were specifically interested in the entries that mentioned violence against women, and specifically Amy. According to reports, at least one of the poems was about contemplating murder and how a person would successfully hide a body. Steve insisted the writings had nothing to do with his wife and her disappearance. Amid their investigation, authorities also heard from a witness who was camping near the area where Bechtel's vehicle was found. The witness said she saw a blue pickup truck, which was being driven by a man and had a blonde woman in the passenger seat, traveling at a high rate of speed down the mountain road. The witness later identified the truck as Steve Bechtel's. Phone records later proved Steve was at home at the time the witness claimed she saw his truck. Amy Skinner also said Steve was with all that afternoon and evening, and he just didn't have the time to murder his wife. Steve's friend Sam Leitner was with him most of the day, as they were rock climbing together. Other theories about Amy Bechtel's include a fatal injury from a fall or an animal attack. However, authorities believe they would have found some evidence in either scenario. As reported, it has also been suggested that she has been a victim of Dale Wayne Eaton, commonly referred to as the Great Basin Killer. Several members of Eaton's family confirmed he was camping in the region where Bechtel went missing at the time of her disappearance. 1 month after Bechtel went missing, Eaton attempted to kidnap a family who was having car trouble. Although they managed to escape, he kidnapped, raped, and killed Lisa Marie Kimmel, who he abducted from a rest stop several years later. To date, authorities have not found any evidence linking Eaton to Bechtel's disappearance. Steve stopped cooperating with law enforcement later, as per the advice of his attorney. He eventually had Amy declared legally dead and got remarried. Until this day, no one knows what happened to Amy Bechtel and where she went. Or is she even alive today or no? The answer is still not found.